Ayala, I wanted to share a video of how to put together an exempt IRB application through the IRIS system. Usually I start by Googling just to get to the page, like I Google IRIS login or IRIS GSU IRB, and you'll be able to find it. But this is actually the website, ursa.research.gsu.edu/human subjects. Um, you want to click on IRIS login and close any current sections. That's because I had this open earlier. That you probably won't see this page. You're going to log in with your campus ID and your password, just the regular ones you use for email. And you're going to create a new study. First, this is going to always come up, gives you an opportunity to do their tutorial, which has a lot of information too, but create a new study. And you're going to click exempt. And exempt applications are for most ethnographic research projects, unless you're working with vulnerable populations, which have some very specific definitions, including like prisoners, people who are in prison, or children, and or anyone who maybe can't sign a consent form for themselves. So you can also ask me or ask IRB people if you have questions about whether or not it should be an exempt study. Also, if you're doing, for example, if you're doing a project where um, you're interviewing people maybe at a location and you have to get permission from that location and using medical records or something like that, that it might wind up being an expedited study. But here we're, focusing on what most of the research, cultural anthropology research projects are going to be at Georgia State, um, where human subjects are involved, involving interviews and participant observation. So start application. So um, what you want to do here is you're going to see that each section of the application will open up after you finish another one. But say you don't want to, like you don't want to have all your information ready in advance. Like you want to look at the different sections. All you have to do is like enter like a letter or two or, into each section to be able to move forward. And then you can go back and like fill in the different sections. So, um, yes. Okay. Then you can go save and continue to next section. It won't let you do that unless you have something in each section. Um, Here, Georgia State University, you're going to want to have anthropology here. So you're going to like click on, let's see. Oh, it's right here. Anthropology. Don't pick anthropology and geography. That's a long time ago. Okay. Um, and sorry, my computer, as I'm doing this, I know it's a little bit slower. Hopefully, y'all move faster. Um, okay, so you want to pick anthropology as your primary department, and then save and continue. And principal investigator has got to be a faculty member at Georgia State, full-time faculty member. And okay, so let's go ahead and put, in this one, I'm going to put myself. So even if, as a graduate student, as an undergraduate doing an honors thesis, like, yes, it is your project and you're the co-invest or you are the student principal investigator. Um, but the faculty member has to be listed as someone who is full-time at Georgia State. Um, so I'm putting myself in here. There's one. And I don't even think you don't have to like choose a department. You can just find that person. And if they're in the system, if they've done the city training, then you should be able to pull them up. So that came up, and you have to press select here because otherwise, if you just like move on and close it, it doesn't do it. So it's not very user friendly button. This little arrow here. Select and then select role, even though we've already done that, like principal investigator. Okay. Include a study contact. Yes. Save. Okay. Personnel has been added. Then you want to add yourself as a student. Um, And you look yourself up. Um, let's see. I was going to try to think of a particular student to use, but no, we won't do it. I don't want to use any names on the thing. So what we basically you would get the same thing to come up. Like so, I'll just use my name again. Okay, I'm pretending that I'm a student or a different in a different role on the study. So okay, there I am again. So in this case, select say this you as a student. You're going to pick additional investigator, and in this case, student PI. Okay, and then save that. Somehow let me do that. It's the same person. Okay. Then you can close setup of study personnel. So here I'm listed as principal investigator and student PI, but that would be the student or you, whoever's watching this. Then save or save and continue to next section. Human subject is required. Have you and your research team members completed human subject training? Yes. As PI eligible is the department eligible as principal investigator at the study. In general, the PI must be a current full-time faculty member or staff member. No students may serve as PI. Okay. Below is the department you've selected. Confirm the department is listed correctly. Yes. And save and continue to next section. Does the study involve information that will be submitted to the Food and Drug Administration? Not usually, or it probably would have to be like an expedited application or something like that. So in this case, so you say no here. Pause the recording because it's taking. All right, sorry. This is a glitch on my computer. Does the study involve information submitted to FDA? No. Does it involve prisoners? No. Is it a clinical trial? No. Or it would, again, it wouldn't be exempt. What are you using? So typically for our anthropology projects in cultural, it's going to be, or maybe linguistic anthropology, surveys or interviews, and what else? We usually don't do, maybe we'll do observation of public behavior. Participant observation, you have to kind of explain that as well. So you do include it, it's still exempt. Does it involve interviews in children 0 to 17? No. Again, if this would be an expedited application if it did. Okay, in lay terms, the purpose of the research, lay terms meaning like some simple terms like that anybody could understand. And again, like if you don't feel like doing this now, you want to see the rest of the application, just like, fill in some letters. Describe how human subjects will be involved. If there's interaction with participants, describe all proposed procedures. And so this is basically, you would say human subjects are involved in interviews. Human subjects will be involved by being subjects of participant observation, um, you know, doing interviews in person, things like that. And you could work with your advisor on the specifics of that. Is the study funded? Yes or no? Like we'll say no in this case, like most studies aren't. Is the study part of any study contributing to dissertation or thesis? Yes. And then if it's only for a thesis, basically they're not really necessarily talking about like whether you might present it later at a conference. So it's not going to be a book necessarily. So you say yes, and it doesn't mean you can't use that research later for articles. Does it involve the use of radiation or lasers? Usually no. Non-human animals? Let's say no. Will the study involve the use of exposure to infectious material? No. Sorry. Continue. Okay. Is the information going to be recorded or obtained in a way that makes it identifiable? So will you have, for example, identifiable information, a link code or key that links the identified information to the data? Usually you do something like this. Like you might collect the name of the person, even if you're going to use a pseudonym, or maybe you'll have their email at some point. And so, um, like you need to kind of account for how you're going to deal with that information. Put any of the information obtained for the research put participants at risk. Um, you know, probably you want to say no, unless that, there is a possibility, and then you just need to explain it. So like if you choose yes there, you just talk about like how privacy is going to be maintained. For example, if you're doing an interview online with somebody, you would talk about how you talk to them about um, how to, making sure that no one is like kind of, if they're doing a virtual interview, no one else can hear them and they're in a soundproof room or something like that. Um, but again, that's something you can talk about with your advisor, to talk to you about that, how to write that section. The confidentiality information, like this video is really just to show you how to do the application, and this confidentiality information, there's sort of a script for it, which I can also help people with. But I just wanted to show stuff like this. They're going to ask things like if you're if you're doing an interview, for example, and recording it, what are you going to do with that after the study's over or during the study? How are you going to save it? Like it says here, flash drive, cloud storage, Dropbox, etc. Will you have a code sheet, for example, matching pseudonyms and names or numbers or something like that during the study? And where will you store that? Will you store it in it? They like you to say in a locked box in your advisor's office, or a locked box out of your home or something like that. But I have a good script for that I can also share with people if anybody needs it. And will consent be obtained from participants? Yes. Um, confirm that the consent form is uploaded. Here you just say, yes, the consent form will be uploaded to the application, or is uploaded to the application. And how consent will be obtained, you need to say consent will be obtained by the student PI. Um, through, and then you describe how you would do that. Would you email them the consent form in advance? Would you um, read it to them? Would you have them read it and then talk about it right before an interview? Do you have an interview, a consent script or something like that you say for people for participant observation? And this last questions, does anybody have any conflict of interest? Financial conflict of interest usually is no. Um, for those, then save and continue. And then an endorsement application. Okay, you have to go through all these steps before you can get to the point where you can upload documents that you've prepared. So usually the documents for an exempt form are going to be they're going to be this like a consent script or a consent form. Um, you're going to upload the interview questions if you have something like that, or if you're doing a focus group, or what kind of topics you'll talk about with people in informal interviews. And so the interview questions, consent form, and then a proposal. Um, okay, so also here you have to add the department sign off, who's going to be Dr. Patico. So you have to look her up there, find her, and then add her to the application. If you miss this step, like it kind of makes it kind of complicated later on. So make sure you do that. And you have to click that check box there, not here, but there. Okay. And then wait, sorry. Okay. There, you can just verify that her name is there, and then save and continue. Okay, now you think you're done, but you're not done. You have all of this here, and you can look at it and you can reopen it and edit different parts of it by clicking on this edit view. We'll go back to that too. Save and continue to the next section. Then finally you're at like section of the application and you're going to um, add documents. So the way you do this, you can drop files from your computer. You can say, and upload it, put the title of the document. I never really write anything in here. You don't necessarily have to put the description or comments. But basically, to upload from your computer, you click here and you have to, then it'll take you to browsing your documents on your computer. And you're going to use that. You'd be able to just upload it like you would upload anything to, like as a file. Um, I'll try to do it. Let's see. I see. I'll just like upload one of my old ones. So sorry, the Dropbox is. Um, okay, so let's see. I have this consent form. So that's me uploading it, just clicking on it, save document. Okay, then it should show up here. Then you would also add in your proposal and things like that. If you wanted to, uh, like if you made a mistake and you wanted to like upload a different one, it's kind of complicated process. So I'll try to show you here. And this is also for, like for revision of documents too. Select, you have to click, rather than trying to delete it, this does not detach to like, doesn't work somehow. It doesn't delete it from your application. You need to revise an existing document. So you would select or revise existing, then you would make sure you look all the way over here on the right, create revision. Then this is again, not a very user-friendly process. And then it says version number 1.1, this checkout document for, and then what's happening is like it's downloading that same document to your computer. For you, but it doesn't matter. Like you're not going to necessarily use that there. Say you've made your revisions on a Word document already on your computer, and that's the one you want to upload. So then you click check in document, choose a file. And let's say I had made changes to this one. I'd fixed whatever I wanted to fix. Then I'm uploading that one. Save selected file. Now this process is a hassle, and it's also something that I could help with. Your advisor might be able to help with too. And this is also a similar process for revisions of documents, which I could make a different video about that because that's when you get comments. You know, it's kind of complicated to do that. Okay, so you have, let's see, checked it back in, and now save. And now it's version 1.1. So rather than having two, what happens if you try to delete it and upload a new one is both are still there, and you have to like write them a note saying, look at this one, look, and make sure you're looking at, 1.0, because they won't delete any of this stuff. Like it's better to, you have to do that process of checking out the document and checking it back in. I know that's a little confusing. So, okay, let's say that that was all the documents I had, but well, let me just show you real quick because you really do, you need to have a proposal, and it has to have the, so that, sorry, research protocol is the term for that. Um, call it, call. And I'm gonna upload one as a sample. Let's see. Okay, this is mine, but for a project that's ongoing. So save document. And I also am gonna show it to you really quick because there's certain sections that IRB is looking for with the research protocol. I hope my computer will handle this. It was. Pause it for a second so that okay, that didn't work. So I'm going to Go back to the application. Like it just wouldn't open it for me on my computer. Got too many things going on. But so the research protocol again is something that you would work with your advisor, but you also have to make sure that it has the the subheadings that IRB usually asks for. So I have samples of that, like this is Dr. White who's like putting this together. You can always email me at cwhite@gsu.edu to ask for more information on those and sample documents. Okay. The other document typically for this is going to be like an interview schedule or and so interview or maybe you have a survey or something like that and you would include that there too. They want to see your interview questions. I mean, same with the consent form is something that okay, something that I have sample documents for as well. One thing you don't have to do with the exempt application is provide any recruitment documents or recruitment information. So that's something different from that and versus an expedited application. Okay, so you've done that, like that, you're pretty much done at this point. You've submitted everything. Oh, you can go back in the application and then like you can edit it before you submit. Like so to edit it, you have to reopen this here. Oh, sorry. Okay. So you can go back through the different sections and add information that you had before, say information, you can kind of click around, make sure you have it all ready to go. And then you want to close that again, you just have to like endorse again, I think. And then it's done. Let's say you have it all complete at this point, like you have all your documents uploaded. Um, Study document section, go ahead and save and continue to next section. And there's going to be don't click exit, click sign off and submit. Sign off is going to go to your advisor. But first you have to like sign up. You're going to have to also enter your GSU email, or sorry, your username and password at the bottom of this. So scroll down. It's like hard to see sometimes, like figuring out how to get to the sign off page. It's down here. Approve, and you put in your ID and your password and save sign off. Now you want to make sure that it's going to go to the principal investigator. It's going to go to, if you're as a student submitting this, it's going to go to them. It's going to go to Dr. Fatico, and then it'll go to the IRB. Okay, I'm not going to do that because this is not a real application, so I'm going to go ahead and log out. Or you know what? Just really quickly, I'm going to go back to first page. And again, just to show where that study is going to be, you're going to scroll down, sorry, scroll down to all studies, and you can, here's like my draft of the study here, and I want to work on that some more. Say you didn't want to submit it right away, you log out, you come back. This is where it is. This is the one that I created here. So some others that are approved. You can see the different statuses of applications, things like that. Okay, that's all for this tutorial. Like I said, I might try to put together a different one on doing IRB revisions because that's really hard, I think. So I hope this will save y'all time, and thanks.